Hello there. Just for anyone online, we're just waiting for the third panel member to arrive and we'll start the meeting. Welcome to the Licensing Act panel hearing. The first order of business is to elect a chair. Oh, sorry, do you know, I haven't started the broadcast. Susie, apologies. Please, could you start the broadcast and I will start. Thank you. Right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Licensing Act panel hearing. The first order of business is to elect a chair. Please, can someone put forward a proposal?
I propose Councillor Ron.
And is that seconded?
I'll second.
All in favour? Wonderful. Okay, I now hand over to you, Chair.
Right, welcome. Good morning and welcome to this meeting of the Licensing Acts panel. I'm Councillor Ron Backstone and I'm the chair of the panel. Councillors Viral Patel and Andrew Skinner also joined today on the panel. Are there any questions on this or any issue or other issues which require addressing? No, I don't believe so. Do members of the panel have any declarations of interest to declare? No. Procedure for this meeting was included in the agenda pack. Would ask if everyone has understood the procedure that will be followed, or does anyone have any questions they wish to ask at this stage?
No, Chairman, thank you.
And we're being asked to consider an application for a premises licence for Budgens 1 Lethlade Road, Faringdon. I will now begin this item and I invite the licensing officer to present their report.
Thank you, Chair. As you've outlined, the report before you today is for the termination for a new premises licence for number 1 Lethlade Road in Faringdon. The premises, which is proposed to operate as a Budgens store, is on a roundabout just outside the town centre where Lethlade Road, Gravel Walk and Gloucester Street meet. A plan showing the location of the premises is attached at page 41 of your papers and the proposed store layout on page 31. The applicant is Mr. Celatore. He has applied for the sole licensable activity of the sale of alcohol, which is proposed to be carried out from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. 7 days a week. A number of measures to support the licensing objectives have been proposed by the applicant, and you can read those on page 26 of your papers. The licensing officer is required to word these measures into license conditions when applications are received, and the officer's proposed condition wording is attached at page 40 of your papers. All new premise license applications are subject to a 28-day consultation period, during which time the responsible authorities and other persons may make representations for or against the grant of the licence. As outlined at section 3.6 of your papers, no representations have been received from any of the responsible authorities, and 5 representations were received from other persons. The representations received, which are attached from page 32, outline concerns regarding the potential for noise, antisocial behaviour, street drinking and crime, and the potential impact upon vulnerable children should the licence be granted and applied for. It is noted within the Licensing Act that in order for a representation to be valid, it must link the licensable activities that have been applied for with one or more of the licensing objectives, which are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. It must be noted that some of the content of the representations received cannot be considered valid under this requirement and therefore cannot be taken into account by the panel. As outlined at section 3.10 of your papers, matters such as parking, the provision of similar businesses within the town, and traffic violations cannot be considered relevant under the Licensing Act 2003. We're not here to determine whether the premises can open as a convenience store, but whether the store should be allowed to sell alcohol. The legal advisor and myself will answer any questions that you've got on that area. Once all the parties have had their opportunity to speak, the panel must decide how to proceed, and your options are at section 5.2 of your papers. Should the panel be minded to grant the licence, they're recommended to do so with the conditions drafted by the officer, as I mentioned, along with any other steps or modifications that you consider appropriate for the promotion of the objectives. Should the panel not be satisfied that the application in its original form supports the objectives, the options available to you are outlined within the report. That's a summary of the application, but please let me know if I can clarify any points for you.
Either of the panel members have any questions for the licensing officer?
I'd just like to ask, the hours that are specified in the application, are they different from the hours which the store would be allowed, or is allowed to open?
So do you mean are the licence hours different to the opening hours?
Yes.
No. So the opening hours that are proposed are on page 25. It's also 6 to 11, and the hours proposed for the sale of alcohol are the same hours.
But are the hours proposed to open governed by any external?
No. So the Licensing Act allows you to apply for up to 24 hours a day if you wish. So it was up to the applicant to decide what they wanted to apply for, and this is what they've applied for.
And would they normally notify the licensing authority if the opening hours change?
Yeah, so if they want to change their opening hours, they would submit an application to us, and that would go through the process.
Yes, following on from that a little bit. So it's only if the applicant chooses to sell alcohol outside of those hours. It's not if they're changing their opening hours.
So once the license is granted, anything they want to change on that, there must be an application to change it. So the license will specify the hours, the license for activities and the opening hours. If they want to change any of that, they can obviously operate less than that. If they want to open more than that, they would have to submit a license variation.
Yeah. So in the locality, is it generally accepted that the sale of alcohol starts at 6? And historically, it has been later on. So do you know locally?
There is no generally accepted hours, so any shop can apply for anything, and the suitability of what they've applied for will be considered as part of that application. But there's no sort of standard hours or generally accepted hours or anything like that. So what's suitable for a location?
Okay, no further questions. Does the applicant or their agent have any questions for the officer?
No, Chairman, thank you. I don't have any questions.
Do any other attending party have any questions for the officers? I think it's Mr. or Joy Jenny.
Miss Joy.
Do you have any questions? Yes, can you?
Hi, can Joy Jeremy hear us? Could you unmute yourself and let us know if you can hear the room, please? Jeremy. Can't unmute them.
I can't see. I can't unmute. Somebody's just put on the.
Maybe they can type.
Good, I didn't quite.
Okay. It's just what she needs to type in if she wants to talk. Then.
Good for the moment, but any questions in the chat? No.
Yeah.
My glasses, I can't read them.
I can,
No response. Lucy's asked, is any type of question?
Hello.
My
So
concern.
my concerns are about the siting of this proposed off licence very close to the conservation area of the town and also to the brand new special needs school.
That's not a question for me specifically. That will be for her time later on when she wishes to speak.
I'm just
I
letting
think
her
she can
know.
hear us, but
Oh, so you will be able to present your concerns to the panel shortly. I wonder if, as we could hear you earlier, if it might be worth trying to leave the meeting and rejoin. And then you
I'm on now. I'm on
Oh,
now. Thank you.
hello.
I'm on now. Hello, everyone. Yes, sorry about that.
That's okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no further questions, I'll now invite the applicant and their agent to present their case.
Thank you, Chairman. Chair, I just want to give us a brief background before I go into the detail. My client, the applicant, Mr. Selatore, is a personal license holder since 2016, and he has a very clean record in the licensing trade. He's an experienced licensee and he's never had any issues with any authorities. Also, Chair, he is a family man with young children, and this business is going to be his livelihood. The premises currently is closed down. I'm sure the local residents are aware of this. It's in a very bad state. It is an eyesore. My client invested a huge sum of money into this property to renovate this business. That is including floor, roof, ceiling, everything, electrics, everything need to be renovated. It's a huge sum of money. So he invested significant sum of money into this. He will never jeopardize this by undermining any licensing objectives, no upsetting the local residents, because this is his livelihood. He fully rely on the local community for his survival. We're not expecting any sort of passing trade. So he's not going to jeopardize this. This is not going to be a wine store. This is a family-friendly convenience store. Alcohol is going to be part of the premises. My client wants to make that clear to everybody before we go into the details, Chair. As the licensing officer outlined in his application, when we made this application, we made the application with a number of measures to promote the licensing objectives. Without going into too much details, some of the main the steps we have taken, the measures we have taken, our staff training is a complete staff training with all the records, and including refresher training at least every 12 months. These training records will be maintained in the premises and can be inspected at any time, councillors. It's going to be a new CCTV system because it's everything in the property is going to be brand new. So it's going to be the latest CCTV system with 31 days of recordings. Recording can be provided to any authorities and with everything included. We also have taken measures to promote public safety, public nuisance. It's including part of the training program to avoid nuisance, and also there will be locks will be kept if any incidents happen. With regards to protecting the children, Chair, there are serious measures put in place. Challenge 25 policy will be strictly enforced. Refusal record books, proxy sales will be part of the training to avoid proxy sales, and all other protecting children measures will be included in the training, and all the signs and notices will be in place. In addition to that, there are some draft conditions proposed by the licensing team. It's in I have seen that, I believe it's in Appendix G in the hearing pack. We are more than happy to accept all the conditions moving forward. So if the license granted today, these are the conditions we must follow. Otherwise, it's going to be a breach of the licensing terms and it's a criminal offence. We are more than happy to follow these conditions moving forward, Chair. During the consultation period, we haven't had any objections from any responsible authorities, but we received some objection from the local residents. My client takes that very serious. We respect their concerns and he understands the concerns. This is the residents he relies on. We are taking their concerns very serious. We just want to give an assurance that this is going to be a family-friendly convenience store. We have a number of measures to promote the licensing objectives. This is not to create a nightmare to the neighbors or create nuisance in this area. That is not the plan. This is his investment. He's not going to jeopardize that. And also, with great respect to the residents, I just wanted to point out again, licensing officer outlined already, the premises currently has a right planning permission to operate as a convenience store. It's a retail unit, as a number of other issues were already considered under planning legislation and etc. I don't want to go into the detail, but we are only here for the alcohol and the licensing objectives. Again, with great respect, I just wanted to point out the Section 182 of Licensing Act 2003. There are a few sections. 2.1, firstly, the licensing authorities should look to the police as a main source of advice for crime and disorder. The police is happy with this application, Chair, and we have no objections under crime and disorder or public nuisance from police or other authorities. And also the 9.43, the authority's determination should be evidence-based, justifies as being appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives and proportionate to what is intended to achieve. Again, we respect that this is a closed down property, so that it's very hard to get any sort of evidence against this business. However, there was no evidence provided, neither my client nor in this area with regards to the crime and disorder or public nuisance. Again, I'm saying that with great respect without undermining the concerns of the residents. Lastly, the 10.15 shop, stores and supermarkets should normally be free to provide sale of alcohol for consumption of the premises at any time when the retail outlet is open for shopping, unless there is a good reason based on the licensing objective for restricting the hours. We're trying to maintain the opening hours and the alcohol hours same. This is reduce operational issues, having two sets of hours, and also it can be sometimes damaging to the customer relationship. So as long as we maintain the premises in a right order and promote the licensing objectives, I think the hours should be matched with the trading hours, Chair. And also, this is going to be a development in the local area, additional business. There is a investment that's also need to be, my client would like to request the panel to consider for the local, the growth of the local economy. Finally, Chair, my clients would like to give an assurance. This is a convenience store. We have taken all the measures to promote the licensing objectives. And additionally, the Licensing Act 2003 is a very powerful tool. If the license granted today, this license will be subject to matrix of conditions we have proposed, and the additional ones included in the agenda. And therefore, reviewing this license is much more easier than any other licenses. So the responsible authorities, including the local residents, has the full power to review this license if we fail on any licensing objectives and breach of the license conditions. So while you have all these measures, and when you don't have any objections from the responsible authorities, and it is a new investment, and my client is giving the assurance that it's going to promote the licensing objectives, this application should be granted, Chair. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do any panel members have any questions for it?
One, and I'm sure the officer will tell me whether it's relevant or not. In terms of staff, does the applicant have any idea on what kind of staff they're going to employ? Is it going to be largely family run, as in husband, wife, extended family, or is it going to employ people locally as well?
It has to. It can't be run just by two people. if it's 6 to 11, 7 days a week, it can't be managed just by 2 people. So it needs additional staff. But again, all the additional staff will be trained before the employment. So those checks and measures will be completed before the employment. But definitely he need more than the family. It cannot be run just by the family.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No, thanks.
Does the licensing officer have any questions? No. In that case, thank you very much for your presentation.
Yeah, you should just check with anybody else.
Right, yeah, just well, much. Yeah.
Be sure you're on interest.
Yes, in that case, could we ask Jenny to make a presentation?
That's my concern.
Just give her a moment. She can in there.
Am I allowed to speak?
Yes, yes, please go ahead. Oh, did you have any questions for the applicant?
Yes.
Well, perhaps start with those.
I wanted to know more, please, about the training. You've been rather vague, using the word training fairly often in your delivery, but no meat put on the bones of that. I'd like to know what sort of training you are putting in place to ensure that your proposed off-licence, smack bang in the middle of the town, market town's conservation area, is going to be sufficient. Thank you.
Can I answer the question?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Chairman. The applicant is a personal license holder, and the training is mainly around the licensing objectives, how to prevent crime and disorder. It's a much more detailed one. We can't go through the full detail here, but I'll briefly mention that, how to prevent crime and disorder. So that's including how to employ the right people, right checks and balances before they employ somebody, and also having the right measures, like following the license conditions, because breaching the condition is a crime, right product, like counterfeit items, so they need to be checked properly, right to work checks, CCTV, avoid selling alcohol to the wrong person beyond the license hours. So there are lots of things can be trained under crime and disorder. In terms of public safety, that's a health and safety matters need to be made aware to all the staff. They have to check everything continuously, whether it's a wet floor or including making sure there's no hazards in the shops, any sort of trip hazards. So a number of different things under the public safety. Prevention of nuisance. Again, it's going back to having a CCTV, avoid selling alcohol to the wrong people, whether is someone going to cause nuisance to the area if the alcohol has been handed over to them. So these are the pre-checks they have to go through before they sell the alcohol or any other products. Finally, the protecting the children. So children need to be protected. That's a very serious matter. This is where staff training, significant part of the staff training is around safeguarding children. That's about age-restricted product, recording the refusals, watching out adult buying alcohol for minors. So these are the checks need to be done before we handing in the age-restricted product. So that's all going to be part of the training. So these are the main points. But again, training is something is ongoing. So people on this trade, they know a lot more as they progress on a daily basis. Hope I have answered it.
Training man, excuse me. Oh, sorry. Is the training manual available for me to see? Please. Do I have access to this?
The staff training records will be on the premises for any relevant authorities for inspection. I believe if you have any concerns, you can always raise that to the authorities, and they will, because the training records will have some personal details and stuff. So I guess if you have any concerns, you can raise to the authorities, and the authorities will be able to access these records. And
which authorities would you direct me to, please, Mr. Raja?
Please, could you direct a question through the chair, please?
I beg your pardon.
It's mainly the licensing enforcement, trading standard, police, or environmental health from the local authorities.
If it assists, Chair, I can read the draft condition that's been proposed in relation to training.
Yes, if you could.
So the proposed condition is all staff, whether paid or unpaid, in the sale of alcohol shall be trained in respect of the law relating to the sale of alcohol, the licensing objectives, proxy purchases, identification check-in, the company's proof of age policy, and the procedure on handling and recording refusals. Refresher training shall be carried out as a minimum every 12 months. Such training records are to be documented. Records should be kept for a minimum of 1 year and made available upon request to an authorised officer of the council, trading standards and Thames Valley Police. So those records we would check when we're doing an inspection of the premises, and if there was any concerns about premises, for example, a licence review application was made, they would be checked as well at that stage.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any further questions?
Yes, please.
Yes, make them questions rather than the presentation which you're about to give, I think.
I'm not about to give a presentation. Sorry, I'd like to just ask a further question of Mr. Rajesh, please.
Yes, do go ahead then.
Thank you. Mr. Rajesh, what do you have in place for litter?
It's the, I don't know whether you're referring to litter on street or in store. There is a regular cleaning process in store. My client is not responsible to provide a litter bin on a public highway. He cannot place a litter bin without council permission. It can cause some other health and safety issues because it's a public highway. He can't place that. But within the premises, they will have facilities to remove rubbish for the litter.
If I might intervene, I don't think litter is part of the licensing panel's remit, as it were.
Littering outside the premises is not.
Yes.
Right.
So do you have any further questions?
Yes. Well, that was a no.
Does the licensing officer have any questions?
No.
Thank you. That concludes the presentation stage of the panel. I will now move on to the final submission stage and ask each party.
Sorry, John. Can you just double check? You want me to double check?
Joy, would you like to make a representation to the panel about what you feel about the application? That's the next stage of this hearing. You have an opportunity
Yes,
to
please.
do that.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Yes, do go ahead.
You can go ahead whenever you're ready.
Just to reiterate that I am a concerned resident living in the market town of Faringdon. Already we have several such establishments selling off-license establishments, come grocers. We've got those all over the town. We also have large supermarkets, Tesco, Aldi, Waitrose, all selling alcohol. We have little shops up and down the town already selling alcohol. Why are we then putting into a very residential neighbourhood, conservation area, capital C, capital A, another such establishment, and encouraging people to buy alcohol from 6 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night? There will inevitably be noise in this residential, calm residential area. There will be litter, bottles, etc. My representation is that we don't need it. It's an eyesore. It will upset residents. And that's my representation. Thank you.
Thank you. Going to the panel members, have any questions? Does the licensing officer have any questions? No. Does the applicant have any questions?
No, Chairman, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Right, so I think that does conclude the presentation stage of the panel. I will now move on to the final submission stage and ask each party if they wish to summarise their views before we go into closed session to make a decision. Would anybody like to make a concluding statement summarising their case?
I think I'll start. As I said, we've heard from the parties present. All I can suggest is that you focus your deliberations on the matters that are considered relevant under the Licensing Act, and the legal advisor can advise you when you're deliberating what those matters are.
Would the applicant like to make a concluding statement?
Yes, please, Councillor. Just very briefly, Chairman, this is, and also for the residents as well, my clients wanted to reiterate that this is not going to be a wine store. It is a family-friendly convenience store, and he is converting a rundown eyesore property, and he's investing to turn into a good-looking, brand new convenience store for the local community. We have no objection from the responsible authorities. We have a number of measures to promote the licensing objectives. So, and therefore, he just asking the help to the council and the local residents to run a business, a decent business in the middle of the community without undermining any licensing objectives. Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you. Does Ms. Jenny have any final statement she'd like to make?
I've said my piece. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now make our decision, and this will be done privately, with only members, the Democratic Services Officer and the Legal Officer present. If the panel intends to clarify any points, they may call on the attendees back into the meeting. During this time, parties are asked to wait. Well, sorry. This is not relevant because you're online.
Just confirm, we'll keep the meeting open, but we will mute and turn the camera off for the room. And when the panel have finished their private session, we will turn the camera back on. So you're welcome to stay in the meeting and keep an eye on when we're ready to come back, but you won't be able to hear or see anything until we're ready to come back. And Susie, I'll ask you to stop the broadcast in a moment, pause it, and then we'll need to come back to it when the decision is ready to be announced.
Thank you. I think this concludes this part of the meeting, so we can.
Lovely. Susie, please could you pause the broadcast, and we will now mute the room.
I just want to ask licensing a couple of questions when we start.
I can't. I'm not part of the closed session.
So
No.
I'm not.
We said we could call people back into the.
But everybody has to come back. So
Yeah. If you've got questions that can't be answered by the legal advisor, we'll call everyone back in.
yes,
And just message me if you need.
Okay,
will do. Thanks.
thank you.
that was it. I even told Sarah, well, at least that drama's over. Then came the call. 2 weeks later, she told me she got engaged to this guy named Dorian. I'd met him once during her visit when we all went out to dinner. He seemed normal, quiet, polite, not her usual type, which is probably why I assumed this might actually go somewhere. Then she called me, crying, saying I'd ruined everything. Apparently I'd made a joke at dinner that embarrassed her in front of him. I asked her what I said. She couldn't even repeat it. Just said I was always trying to undermine her. That same day, our mom called. Frustrated, tired sounding. What did you say to upset Marla this time? That's when something in me didn't land. My aunt asked about work and got a vague shrug in response. Then, without warning, Marla dropped it, said she was being gaslit by me, that I was letting everyone believe I'd flirted with her fiancé when I knew it wasn't true, and that I was letting her drown in something I could easily fix. No one reacted. She looked around the table, waiting for someone to step in. I leaned back in my chair and asked one question: when have I ever been believed even when I did correct you? That shut the table down. My dad opened his mouth like he was about to say something but just closed it again. He looked confused, like he was finally starting to process how many times that same dynamic had played out over the years. Then, in the middle of the silence, Marla's phone buzzed. And then again. She pulled it out, read something, locked the screen, and tossed it into her purse without a word. Later, I found out from Grace, her former best friend, that Marla had just been removed from another group chat. Apparently, one of the people in it brought up the engagement party fallout, and several others chimed in with stories about Marla twisting facts or playing the victim. They kicked her out before the conversation even ended. Later that night, I got a DM from someone who used to work with Marla. We'd never spoken before. She said she didn't want to start drama, but thought I should know Marla used to talk about me at work. A lot. Said I was jealous of her career and always tried to sabotage her. She even blamed one of her missed deadlines on a family emergency I had apparently caused. According to her, people at the office are finally comparing notes. A few nights later, around 9 p.m., I heard someone knock on my apartment door. It was Marla. No makeup. Hoodie, sweatpants, red eyes. She didn't yell. She didn't even start off angry. Just walked in without being invited, sat down on the edge of my couch, and asked me to fix it. Said all I had to do was tell people I lied. I told her I'd do it, but only if she admitted everything else. All the lies she's told about me over the last 15 years. Every single one. To my face. In writing. She stared at me. Didn't blink. Then she stood up, screamed something I couldn't even make out, threw her bag across the room, grabbed it again, and left. Didn't hear from her after that. The next day I got a message from Dorian's sister. I met her once at a brunch. We barely spoke. She just said, thank you. She said she knew something was off when Marla constantly painted me as this jealous, bitter person. I said Dorian was treated more like a prop than a partner, and that Marla would always twist things to make herself the center. She said what I did at the engagement party finally cleared the smoke. A week later, our mom called me. She didn't bring up the party, didn't defend Marla, just asked, did you really mean it? I told her, I don't need you to believe me. I just need you to remember this next time she cries wolf. That was the last time we spoke about it, but the fallout didn't stop, and neither did the silence. After the dinner and the blow up at my apartment, I didn't hear from Marla again. No texts, no calls, nothing through our parents either. I didn't reach out. I didn't need to. But the silence didn't mean people weren't talking. A few coworkers and mutual acquaintances started messaging me, not in a gossipy way, more like they were trying to understand what had really happened. I kept it short, just said things had been building for years and I wasn't interested in rehashing it. That seemed to be enough. A week later, I heard Marla had been telling people I manipulated Dorian into breaking up with her. She told one of her old roommates that I had feelings for him and had been chipping away at their relationship from the start. Another person told me Marla even hinted that I'd been texting Dorian behind her back. None of that was true, but she needed a new version of the story now that the old one wasn't working. And meanwhile, Dorian moved out of state. Temporary job contract. Quiet exit. No post. No drama. Just gone. Before leaving, he told a few people, mutual friends mostly, that Marla had been twisting facts for months. That it wasn't just about me. He listed examples. That he wished he'd stepped away sooner. He didn't contact me again after that, and I didn't expect him to. A cousin of ours, Rachel, reached out next. She used to take Marla's side by default. Said I was too cold and too logical. This time, she messaged to apologize. Said she didn't realize how many times Marla had redirected blame until it started affecting people besides me. Still, some of the family acted like it would all blow over. My mom called and said she hoped the girls would make up soon. I told her, not this time. She changed the subject. Marla's social media slowly started changing. First, the engagement photos disappeared. Then her bio changed. Then the couple posts. Nothing dramatic. Just erased, piece by piece. She never made a statement, but it was clear it was over. Around that time, I heard from someone who worked with mostly for clarity. Then she thanked me and said, "That explains a lot." That was the end of the call. 4 days later, Marla found out I had met with our grandparents. I didn't say a word about it, but somehow it got back to her, probably through a cousin. And it didn't go over well. She had a full meltdown. I wasn't there for it, but I heard about it from 3 different people. She accused me of trying to turn the family against her and started texting everyone she thought would be on her side. Some of them called me. One aunt was clearly uncomfortable. Another cousin messaged to say they felt stuck in the middle. I didn't play along. I gave every single person the same line. I'm done taking responsibility for her stories. You're all adults. Ask better
Thank you, Susie.
Wonderful.
Right.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you for coming back. And we have made our decision. So the license is granted, subject to the mandatory conditions under the Act and the conditions that are set out on page 40, Appendix G of the report, with a minor change to draft condition 1, to change the word company in the third line to license holder, to remain consistent with condition 5. The detailed decision notice providing reasons for the decision will be published and circulated to all interested parties within 5 working days. Any party may appeal against the panel's decision. Any appeal must be made to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days of the date of this decision notice. This has to be made in the correct manner, accompanied by the required fee. In the event of an appeal being lodged, the panel's decision remains valid until any appeal is heard and any decision is made by the Magistrates' Court. Responsible authorities, local residents and ward councillors may request a review of the premises licence if the premises are running licensed activities in such a way as to fail to uphold any of the licensing objectives. Thank you. With that, I will close the meeting.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Susie, please could you stop the broadcast?